Hi guys, this is Dr. Shwetamra Sabharwal. I'm here to talk to you about something quite uncomfortable today, and that is what if you get coronavirus? It's so uncomfortable for me to say it so I can imagine the discomfort that I'm causing you by you having to listen to this. But with the numbers surging, it being all around us, it's about time that we address this fear, that we say it out loud to ourselves, and that we start preparing for whatever we can in the situation if something like this was to arise. The whole point of this video is to empower you with the right thoughts, with the right attitude, with the right emotions, not to scare you and certainly not to cause any panic. So please look at the following information as tools to empower you. God forbid you had to get sick. I know we're all in each other's prayers, and I do hope and pray that you do not have to face the situation, but if you do, how are you going to cope with it? The first thing that happens when you get tested positive, based on my research, reading on reports, and personal accounts of people who've recovered, talking to patients, talking to doctors, one of the first things that people report is being nervous, being scared, and experiencing fear. The whole journey between getting tested positive to recovery has been different for everybody. Whether they were taken to the hospital and quarantined, whether they self-quarantined themselves, with symptoms they experienced, whether it was, fever, sore throat, dry cough, aches and pains, gastrointestinal issues, shortness of breath, the whole picture of the disease is so diverse. From the recovery period being 2 weeks to 6 weeks and plus, a lot of this is difficult to draw parallels between, to draw commonalities, and thereby it makes it harder for us to say, okay, you know what, these are the three things that you need to prepare for. But one of the common things that I did find was nervousness, anxiety, and fear. Now, what does fear do to our body? It really, our brain releases two hormones in the face of fear, that is adrenaline and cortisol, and those further bring down our immunity. So fear in this situation is definitely not helping you, and we need to find a way to beat that. Now we know that there is no foolproof treatment and we don't have a vaccine yet. So what have we got? We've got two very powerful tools, and that is our body and our mind. And once, of course, you're sick, the more powerful one is your mind. I'll talk about the body first. What we can do with our body is try and keep it relaxed. How do you keep it relaxed? The right kind of breathing. Everybody's been talking about it. What oxygen does is that it has a relaxing effect on your body. You have to be aware and sensitive to the muscle tone in your body. And yes, when you're sick and when you've got such high fever and you have such an achy throat that you can't even drink water, it's difficult to remember all this. But if you can, think about this, make some mental notes that these are the three things I'm going to do with my body, these are the three things I'm going to do with my mind. This is just an attempt to empower ourselves, God forbid, if we do get sick. So to keep ourselves breathing deeply, so that we supply the necessary oxygen to relax our body, to keep our muscles relaxed, and to make sure that you are complying with all of the treatment that is being provided by your the health professionals, your caretakers, whether it is timely hydration and whatever medication they want to administrate on you. We want to make sure that we are not coming in the way of our treatment. Now, I'm a psychologist, and I've always believed that the mind has a very, very significant role and influence on the body, which is actually the more important point that I want to make today. Our mind is an extremely powerful tool for us to focus on rational and positive information. And this is not a cure, it is not a miraculous cure or medicine in any form for the sickness, but it can help you cope better with the symptoms, it can help you cope better with the pain, it can help you cope better with the isolation. I spoke to a few doctors and they said, usually when patients are admitted, there is someone or the other in and out of the room. There is, there are doctors, intensivists, there's, in the, usual patients with pneumonia, for example, there's someone or the other going in, boosting up their morale. But now in the COVID scenario, there won't be people around. There won't be anyone to remind you of this. There won't be anyone. And even if there are people, they won't have the time to help you cope with your emotions. So what do I want you to do? I want you to think rational. You have to constantly remind yourself of the rationality that, where there are serious cases and there are fatalities, there are many more minor cases and there are many more people who are recovering. So your mind has to focus on recovery. And I'm not just asking you to be positive, I'm asking you to be rational here. We are going to deploy everything we've got to think about recovery. So when I say deploy everything we've got, I mean our modalities. If I ask you to think of a juicy red apple, can you think of it or not? You can. That's the power of our mind. So you are going to visualize, make pictures and make images and make templates of how you are going to recover and how you're going to be once you've recovered. You will listen, taste, smell, feel, tactile, feel recovery in every possible way, whenever you can remember, whenever you can remind yourself. Let's say you slipped into thinking about doom and I can't take this, I won't be able to take this. You bring yourself, the minute you remember that I have the power to think rational and to think positive, and that's what I'm going to do, you get yourself back to thinking about recovery. The most powerful thought tool is our self-talk. So what you say to yourself, the words you use, the vocabulary you use, I can't take it anymore versus this is really terrible and I'm suffering. But it's not something that I can't bear. It's not something that I can't bring myself out of. I will see myself through this. So a lot of words which will help you affirm in that positive belief of recovery must be used. So those are the things that you can do in situations. Of course, I spoke about breathing. Now there are reports of a lot of high respiratory distress, in some cases failure, in which case you are in the hands of doctors and hospitals, and you will be taken care of. But at least during the process of testing, the process of administrating medication, all the way up until when, God forbid, you do need a ventilator, breathing can help you relax. And this is something that I have checked with chest specialists and pulmonologists. So please do remember to keep your body relaxed. With breathing, remember to keep your muscle tone relaxed. Remember to comply with what your caretakers are asking you to do in that situation. So our body has to be used to comply and not to defy. And our mind has to be used to think about recovery, talk about recovery, and like I said, all modalities into thinking about how you can make this a little bit more tolerable, however hard it is. And we really are hearing that there is, sometimes the cases are getting so severe, but during that period, remember to fight back with what we've got. Like I said, we have our body and we have our mind, and these are extremely powerful tools. So do remember this, make mental notes, prepare yourself that, God forbid, it has to happen. I'm going to act in this way instead of getting paralyzed with fear. And the last thing I want to request is that do share this video with as many people as you can, because we don't know where, how will be able to use some of this information, and how it could help them in making their pain just a little bit more bearable. Thank you for listening. Take care, stay safe.